Stop. Before you scroll away, what I'm about to reveal could change your life forever. God Himself is speaking directly to you, and this is not a coincidence, not a random thought, not a fleeting feeling. This is a warning, the final warning, and ignoring it could cost you everything you've been praying for, everything you've been believing for, everything your heart secretly longs for. And if you think you've seen miracles before, you haven't seen anything yet, because what God is about to do is beyond imagination, beyond human logic, beyond the natural. It is supernatural, it is divine, it is a shift that will catch even your closest friends by surprise. It will make your enemies question how you moved so fast, how you rose so suddenly, how doors that were once closed swing open with favor and blessings so massive you will have no choice but to acknowledge God's hand. But here's the catch. He cannot force you to walk into this destiny if you keep ignoring His signs, if you keep delaying, if you keep hesitating, if you keep thinking that you have more time, because time is running out, the window of opportunity is closing, and this is the last call, the last message, the last chance to respond before life starts to move in ways that are irreversible. So hear Him now, see the signs, feel the urgency, and stop dismissing the nudges in your heart, the coincidences in your day, the moments when doors seem to close just to push you to the right path. God is speaking through every detail, and when you finally recognize this, when you finally obey without question, without fear, without reservation, your life will never be the same again. And I'm talking about more than small blessings. I'm talking about complete restoration, unimaginable favor, divine alignment in every area of your life, relationships, finances, health, opportunities, and purpose. And you may feel overwhelmed just hearing this, because it is massive, it is radical, it is life-altering, and yet it is available for you right now if you act. So listen closely. The first sign you ignored was not a mistake, the second warning was not coincidence, the third missed opportunity was not bad luck. Every single event, every single whisper, every single moment has been God preparing you, testing your obedience, measuring your faith, and now He is saying stop ignoring this sign. I'm warning you for the last time. And if you respond immediately, you will witness breakthroughs you never imagined, doors opening that were locked for years, people appearing in your life at the exact moment to help you, resources flowing when you thought you had none, clarity arriving where confusion once ruled, strength filling the gaps where weakness remained, courage replacing fear, joy replacing despair, purpose replacing aimlessness, and blessing stacking in ways that will make you a testimony, a living proof of God's power, a beacon of hope for others. But if you ignore it, if you turn away, if you procrastinate, the same signs will transform into obstacles, the same opportunities will pass, and the divine favor you were about to receive will be given to someone else who listens, who acts, who moves first. And this is why He shouts in your spirit now, because love demands urgency, because mercy has boundaries and timing, because destiny waits for no one, because the next move you make is the one that decides whether your life changes today or remains the same tomorrow. So stop pretending. Stop ignoring, stop delaying, stop hiding behind doubt, fear, excuses, distractions, comfort zones, and the opinions of others. Step forward boldly, act decisively, trust completely, and surrender fully, because every step you take now multiplies blessings, multiplies favor, multiplies protection, multiplies guidance, multiplies opportunities, multiplies insight, multiplies relationships, multiplies peace, multiplies joy, multiplies miracles, multiplies abundance, multiplies influence, multiplies destiny, multiplies purpose, multiplies eternal rewards, and every second you wait is a second lost, a second wasted, a second when the enemy moves in, when fear gains ground, when delay steals potential. So hear this ultra clear: God is calling, God is warning, God is speaking, and this is your last chance. And when you finally say yes, when you finally obey, when you finally step into faith without hesitation, without resistance, without delay, your life will explode with blessings, with divine favor, with protection, with provision, with clarity, with courage, with wisdom, with breakthroughs, with miracles, with the impossible happening before your eyes. And this is why you cannot wait, cannot ignore, cannot doubt, because the time is now, the sign is here, the instruction is clear, and God Himself says stop ignoring this sign. I'm warning you for the last time. Wait. Don't relax yet, because what you're about to hear next is something most people never realize until it's too late, and by the time they understand it, the opportunity has already slipped through their fingers. And God is saying right now that you are standing at a spiritual crossroads, a moment so critical that your next decision will either accelerate your destiny or delay it for years. And you might think you still have time. You might believe that you can come back to this later, that you can fix things tomorrow, that you can pray more seriously next week. But what if tomorrow never carries the same opportunity? What if next week doesn't have the same open door? What if the very thing you are postponing right now is the exact key meant to unlock everything you've been waiting for? Because understand this deeply: God does not repeat moments endlessly. He gives signs, He gives warnings, He gives divine nudges. But when those are ignored repeatedly, the season shifts, the door moves, and the blessing that had your name on it gets reassigned to someone who is ready to act without hesitation. And this is not meant to scare you. This is meant to wake you up, because you have been chosen. Yes, you, out of millions, out of countless people, you were the one who encountered this message at this exact moment. And that is not random. That is alignment. That is divine orchestration. That is God placing you exactly where you need to be, so you cannot say you didn't know, so you cannot say you weren't warned, so you cannot say you missed the sign, because right now the sign is clearer than ever, louder than ever, stronger than ever, and it is demanding your attention, your obedience, your immediate response. And erase the truth that most people ignore: partial obedience is still disobedience, delayed action is still denial, and half-hearted faith will never produce full results. You cannot expect massive breakthroughs while giving minimal commitment. You cannot expect supernatural results while staying in your comfort zone. You cannot expect God to move mountains in your life while you refuse to take a single step forward. And this is where everything begins to shift, because the moment you decide to act, not tomorrow, not later, not when you feel ready, but right now, in this very moment, something in the spiritual realm begins to move on your behalf. Doors begin to align. People begin to shift. Opportunities begin to surface. And things that once felt impossible suddenly become accessible. But this only happens when you respond instantly, when you stop negotiating with fear, when you stop making excuses, when you stop waiting for perfect conditions, because perfect conditions never come. Faith is proven in uncertainty, courage is revealed in discomfort, and obedience is tested in moments exactly like this. And God is watching not your words, Not your intentions, but your actions, because actions are the true evidence of belief, and right now your actions will either confirm your faith or expose your doubt, and if you choose faith, if you choose to move forward despite fear, despite confusion, despite not having all the answers, you will trigger a chain reaction of divine events that will completely transform your life. In talking about sudden breakthroughs, unexpected blessings, miraculous turnarounds, connections that feel heaven-sent, and opportunities that come at the perfect time with perfect alignment. But if you hesitate, if you ignore, if you scroll past this moment like it means nothing, you risk staying exactly where you are, stuck in the same cycle, facing the same struggles, asking the same questions, and wondering why nothing changes, and deep down you already know the answer, because this is not the first sign you've seen, this is not the first time you've felt this pull, this is not the first moment where something inside you said pay attention. Act now, don't ignore this, but you pushed it aside. You delayed, you distracted yourself, and now God is saying no more delays, no more excuses, no more ignoring. This is the moment that defines everything, and here is something even deeper, the resistance you feel right now, that hesitation, that voice telling you to wait, to think later, to not take this seriously, that is not coincidence, that is opposition, because whenever you are close to a breakthrough, resistance increases. Doubt gets louder, distractions multiply, and fear tries to take control, because the closer you are to your destiny, the harder the enemy tries to pull you away. But this is exactly how you know that this moment matters, this is exactly how you know that this message is real, because if it didn't matter, you wouldn't feel this tension, you wouldn't feel this urgency, you wouldn't feel this internal push telling you something is happening right now, something important, something life-changing, and it is. And God is saying if you push through this resistance, if you choose faith over fear, action over delay, obedience over comfort, you will step into a level of life you have never experienced before, a level where things begin to work in your favor, where doors open naturally, where stress turns into peace, where confusion turns into clarity, where lack turns into abundance, and where your life becomes a testimony of what happens when someone finally listens to God and acts without hesitation. And this is why this is the final warning, because after this, the responsibility shifts to you, the choice is fully yours, the outcome depends on your response, and God will not force you, He will not drag you into your destiny, He will not override your free will, He will simply present the opportunity, make the path clear, and wait for you to take the step, and the moment you do, everything begins to change, everything begins to align. Everything begins to move in ways you cannot control but will clearly recognize as divine. So this is your moment, this is your sign, this is your confirmation, and the question is simple: will you act now or will you regret later? Will you move forward or stay stuck? Will you trust God or trust your fear? Because the next few moments of your decision carry more power than you realize. And once you choose, everything follows. So don't wait, don't hesitate, don't ignore this again, because God is speaking clearly, powerfully, urgently. And this is your last chance to respond before everything shifts. This is the moment most people fail, not because they are weak, not because they don't believe, but because they underestimate the weight of what is happening right now. And before you move forward, you need to understand something that might shake you. If you feel uncomfortable hearing this, if something inside you feels restless, if your mind is trying to distract you or pull you away, that is exactly why you must stay. Because what you are feeling is not random, it is the pressure of a decision that carries consequences far beyond what you can see, and God is saying right now that there are two paths in front of you, not tomorrow, not someday, but right now in this very moment. One path leads to alignment, breakthrough, elevation, and fulfillment, and the other leads to delay, frustration, confusion, and cycles that repeat until you finally decide to listen. And the dangerous part is that both paths may look similar at the beginning, both may feel comfortable, both may seem harmless, but only one leads to the life you've been praying for, only one leads to the answers you've been seeking, only one leads to the peace you've been chasing, and the other silently pulls you away, slowly, subtly, without you even realizing it, until one day you wake up and wonder why nothing changed, why the same problems are still there, why the same struggles keep repeating, why the same doors remain closed, and in that moment the truth becomes clear. It was never about lack of opportunity, it was about missed moments, ignored signs, delayed obedience, and this is why this warning is so serious, because right now you still have the power to choose, you still have the chance to act, you still have the ability to step into alignment before the shift happens without you, and yes, understand this clearly. The shift will happen with or without you, the doors will open for someone, the blessings will be released, the opportunities will come, but the question is, will you be the one ready to receive them, or will you be the one watching from the outside wondering what you missed? And this is where it gets real, because many people think God's blessings are automatic, that they will come no matter what, that they can delay, ignore, procrastinate, and still receive everything they've been promised, but that is not how it works. Blessings require alignment, alignment requires obedience, and obedience requires action. Immediate action, not delayed, not partial, not when convenient, but now. And if you ignore this, if you choose comfort over calling, if you choose fear over faith, if you choose delay over action, you are not just postponing your blessings, you are actively stepping away from them, and over time that distance grows, that gap widens, until what was once within reach feels impossible, and this is where regret is born, not from failure, but from inaction. From knowing you had the chance and didn't take it, from realizing you saw the sign and ignored it, from understanding that God spoke and you didn't respond, and that realization is heavier than any failure, deeper than any loss, because it carries the weight of what could have been, and God does not want that for you. This is why He is speaking with urgency. This is why this message feels intense. This is why you cannot shake the feeling that something important is happening right now, because it is. This is a defining moment, a turning point, a line between who you have been and who you are meant to become, and crossing that line requires courage, it requires faith, it requires letting go of excuses, letting go of distractions, letting go of the need to feel ready, because you may never feel fully ready, and that's the truth nobody tells you. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision, and the moment you decide, everything else begins to align. And here is the powerful part, the moment you say yes. The moment you take that step, even if it's small, even if it feels uncertain, even if it scares you, heaven responds, doors begin to open, paths begin to clear, strength begins to rise within you, and suddenly what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable, because you are no longer moving alone, you are moving in alignment with God's will, and when that happens, nothing can stop what is meant for you, no person, no obstacle, no delay, no past mistake. Nothing has the power to block what God has already prepared, but only if you move, only if you act, only If you respond now, and this is why this is the last warning, because after this, the silence will test you, after this, the distractions will increase, after this, the opportunity may not feel this clear again, and you will have to rely on what you felt in this moment, on what you heard right now, on the decision you make at this exact point in time, and this is where your future is decided, not in some distant moment, not in a perfect situation, but right here, right now, in this choice, in this response, in this action, and if you choose correctly, if you choose boldly, if you choose without hesitation, you will step into a life that feels completely different, a life where things begin to flow, where opportunities align, where peace replaces pressure, where clarity replaces confusion, where growth replaces stagnation, where blessings begin to multiply in ways you cannot explain. And people will look at you and wonder what changed, how did everything shift so quickly, how did you go from stuck to unstoppable, and the answer will be simple, you listened when God warned you, you acted when others hesitated, you moved when others waited, and because of that, everything changed, so don't miss this, don't ignore this, don't delay this, because this is the moment, this is the sign, this is the final call, and what you do next will echo into every part of your future. This is it. This is the point where everything becomes real, where the message is no longer just words, no longer just a feeling, no longer just something you heard and moved on from. This is the moment where your response decides everything that follows, and before you make that choice, before you decide what you will do after this, you need to understand one final truth that most people never fully accept until it's too late. God does not keep warning forever. He does not keep repeating the same message endlessly. There comes a moment where the silence begins, where the signs stop being obvious, where the opportunities no longer wait for you to be ready, and life simply moves forward based on the decisions you made when the warning was clear. And right now, this is that clear moment, this is that final clarity, this is that last call before things begin to shift without explanation, without announcement, without delay, and you will either be in alignment with that shift or completely out of position. And the difference between those two realities is not luck, it is not timing, it is not chance. It is your decision right now, and I need you to feel this deeply, not just hear it, not just understand it logically, but feel it in your spirit, because something inside you already knows this matters, something inside you recognizes that this is not just another video, not just another message, not just another moment to scroll past. This is different, this feels different, this hits different, and that is not accidental. That is intentional, that is God reaching you in a way that cannot be ignored unless you choose to ignore it, and that choice carries weight, real weight, because from this moment forward, you cannot say you didn't know, you cannot say you weren't told, you cannot say the sign wasn't clear, because it is clearer than ever right now, and this is where everything shifts, this is where your old patterns either end or continue, this is where your excuses either lose power or take control again. This is where your fear either wins or gets crushed by your faith. And you have to decide which one you're going to feed, because whatever you feed in this moment grows. If you feed fear, you stay stuck. If you feed doubt, you stay confused. If you feed hesitation, you stay delayed. But if you feed faith, if you feed courage, if you feed action, everything changes, everything accelerates, everything aligns in ways you cannot predict but will clearly experience. And erase the part that will stay with you long after this message ends. The life you want is not far away, it is not impossible, it is not reserved for someone else, it is one decision away, one act of obedience away, one moment of courage away, and that moment is now, not later, not someday. Not when you feel ready, because you may never feel ready, but you are called to act anyway, and the moment you do, something powerful happens, something invisible yet undeniable, something that begins to rearrange circumstances, shift outcomes, open doors, connect people, release blessings, and move things in your favor in ways that will leave you speechless. And you will look back at this exact moment and realize this was the turning point, this was where everything changed, this was where you stopped ignoring and started acting, this was where you chose faith over fear, movement over delay, obedience over comfort, and because of that, your life took a completely different direction, a direction filled with growth, favor, clarity, purpose, and unstoppable momentum. But if you don't act, if you ignore this again, if you close this and move on like nothing happened, the opposite begins to unfold quietly, slowly, subtly, the same cycles continue, the same frustrations repeat, the same questions remain unanswered, and deep down you will always remember this moment, you will always feel that you were supposed to do something, supposed to respond, supposed to act, and that feeling does not go away easily, it lingers, it reminds, it echoes, and that is something you don't want to carry, not when you have the chance right now to change everything. So this is your final call, your final moment, your final decision point. Will you act or will you ignore? Will you move or will you stay still? Will you trust God or will you listen to fear? Because everything from this point forward depends on that answer, and if you choose to act, if you choose to step forward right now, then don't just think about it, don't just feel it, do something, take a step, make a change, commit fully, remove distractions, align your actions, and show through your movement that you are ready, because readiness is proven through action, not intention. And when you do that, when you take that step, you will activate a level of favor, a level of blessing, a level of breakthrough that will make everything you've been through make sense, every delay, every struggle, every closed door, it will all connect, it will all align, it will all reveal that you were being prepared for this exact moment, and now that moment is here, right in front of you, waiting for your response, waiting for your decision, waiting for your action. So don't ignore it, don't delay it, don't question it, because God has already spoken, the sign has already been given, the warning has already been delivered, and this is the last time you will hear it like this. The rest is up to you, and whatever you choose next will shape everything that comes after, so choose wisely, choose boldly, choose now, because this moment will not come again.